Amahiluk. My name is Linda Matthews, my English name. My Gitxan name is Dewans. I belong to Wilpstone Clochs and originate from the Gitsigika community. And we're here in Hazelton, BC at the Gitxan Lakiep Management Office. I first became aware of land use planning when I started we started off being at the Gitxan Treaty Society office, and that was about 5 years ago. And I was the facilitator for the Upper Nass Watershed Table. And at that, about 3 years ago, the Simgiget from the Upper Nass made the decision that they wanted to have a land use plan, even though they have their own land use plan that they used, that is part of our culture, that goes by the seasons and the months of the year. But because we need to follow some of the government protocol in order for us to move forward, they decided to go forward with the land use plan so that they could ensure that their territories were protected in the Upper Nass area, and that their environment and the ecological system was protected. And that's how we came about going about that. And the chiefs walked the territory. They flew up on helicopters and did some wonderful work up there.
Overall, when we look at things like the GLMO, that's kind of what this place is born out of, right? A technical advisory group. We're not here to govern or represent any kind of governance in these discussions, but rather to just supply technical advice for the house groups. I think when we look at what we do outside of LUPs, I think the Gitxan Lakiep Management Office is one of those places that it's kind of, if you want to come in here, our door's open, and you can use our services. You can sit down and talk to us. We can help with some technical advice and hopefully find the kind of gaps in information that each WILP will require to make those kind of decisions. But we're not a governing body. We're not a approval body. We don't look to licensees and say, yeah, go in here. That has always been clear to us here and to anybody actually being like in the facilitator role, that that is not our decision, and we stick to that. We don't step in or make decisions for any WILP or their Lakiep.
The GLMO was something that the Simgiget had wanted to have in place, an organization that would deal directly with the Simgiget on their territories, what was happening within their territories, being the conduit between any proponents or the province for any potential engagement that would happen with the Simgiget and their WILP. I think it's very important that our own Simgiget and their WILPs are making decisions on what is happening within their own Lakiep, because that's who we are as Gitxan people. That is where we come from. That is where we get all of our resources from. It's a real opportunity for our people to exert their inherent rights and title. We've been, I want to say, planning on our own territories for years and years. The land use planning to me is just formalizing what we've already been doing and practicing and putting it onto paper so that everybody sees what has been done from past, present, and for future generations.
The Simgiget of the Upper Nass and other chiefs have shared with me their feelings when they're on the territory, that sense of belonging, that knowing your home. And when I hear the stories of all the different things that they did on the territories out there, the chiefs spoke to me when they got back and talked about their emotions, talked about their memories, and they knew their ancestors were all around while they were there, walking on the territory. Like Weemanosic, Larry Skull, she was on there, and it was really emotional for him. He was remembering when Neil John walked the territory with him, and Walter Blackwater, that was Bill's brother, walked on that territory. And Bill, it was really emotional for him, and it was just made him feel so good that he could bring his son Hal Blackwater out on the territory with him. So yes, very, very emotional.
The importance and the necessity of what we're doing here, and a few of us are here, came in by helicopter just to be back and feel the land and feel that we're still connected, because from the beginning we are so connected to the land, and we survive by the importance of what the land has given us. Now that we're in a position to deal with the government, and BC government wants the Gitxsan Nation, and all across Canada I would imagine, they want us to submit what they call a land use plan. We don't use the land. We don't abuse it. We live by the land, and we call it sustainability. I just finished going through each month of what happens each month, because of the sustainability happens within that month. And we have to be well aware and be ready for it, and make sure that we don't miss the time, space for us to sustain for our lives. And this is why it's so important to us. The land is so important, and we just like to keep it that way.
My name is Larry Skulls. My hereditary title is Weemanosic, and we are on Weemanosic territory. It comes from Gallatin Keys all the way up to the Nash River, the whole valley. And we're in the process of trying to protect the whole area, from Slam Geese all the way to the Nass, protect this whole valley. Preserving the territory. We value what's out there. As you can see, we've seen goats, we've seen animals, we've seen the lakes, most of the lakes, and this river, abundance of fish. And I'd like to preserve that. Preserve all that, and that's why I asked the government to have it protected. As you're coming up the valley, we see different. We look at the territory differently than industry and the provincial government. Provincial government looks at it, what's out there. We've got to extract it. We've got to make money on it. And the need to preserve all this is so important to me.
Salmon are very important to sustenance for all the Gitxsan people, but everything else with it. The trees, because the trees and the roots and protect the water and keep the waters cooling, especially since we're into global warming now, which is becoming a real problem. There's going to be a shortage of water that we really need to get working on, and we're hoping with this land use plan that the Simgiget will get there. It's important for the chiefs to talk about their boundaries, talk about, okay, there's this big rock here, and at this degree there's the mountain over to the north, and that's my territory. Just like I'll speak to Delgamuukw again, is the fact that Delgamuukw, they have their affidavits within the Delgamuukw case, and it describes all their territories, so that is powerful for the Simgiget. But the reason I'm so passionate about it is that I worked with the Gitxsan Wet'suwet'en Treaty Office, at the time when the Wet'suwet'en and the Gitxsan went to court and they won the GLMO course. I was there right from the beginning, right to the day they won, and we were all in Vancouver. So to me, this is realizing the land use plan and assisting the Symbiote to get there.